Hello everyone, welcome back to 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney and today is Monday, April 4th. Thank you for being here for the top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. This is where we share the stories that matter most to you here in Northeast Ohio because these are the stories that you are clicking on, reading, and sharing from our website and our app. So we start off with an update today to something that happened yesterday afternoon on Sunday afternoon. There is a woman who is still missing and is believed to have been kidnapped, but 2 suspects have been taken into custody in connection with this possible kidnapping. What we saw was that RTA employees say that they saw a woman being assaulted and then forced into a vehicle. This happened at around 3 p.m. on Sunday afternoon at the RTA station at 10108 Detroit Avenue. They say that the car that drove away was a black Toyota RAV4 with dealer plates. Those plates were 0505543. Now, the car has been recovered and 2 people have been taken into custody in connection with the kidnapping, but the woman is still missing. So anyone who might have any information about this is asked to either call 911 or contact RTA dispatch at 216-566-5163. Again, that number is 216-566-5163 to contact RTA dispatch if you have any information at all about the whereabouts of this woman who possibly may have been kidnapped on Sunday afternoon. Now we have an update about the life of former Cuyahoga County Auditor Frank Russo. He has passed away at the age of 72. He was a central figure in an infamous Cuyahoga County corruption scandal. He was one of the most powerful figures in Greater Cleveland. He ended up serving time in federal prison after admitted to taking more than $1 million in bribes. So sources close to his family confirmed to 3 News that he passed away following a week of treatment at Cleveland Clinic's Hillcrest Hospital in Mayfield Heights. He had apparently been on life support for an undisclosed condition, and his family decided that no more can be done. For more about the life and legacy of Frank Russo, you can head to WKYC.com. And today, in the Geauga's child murder trial, closing arguments were held today. They concluded before 10:30 a.m., and this is in the decades-old, was a cold case, but now there is a woman who is on trial for murder and aggravated murder of the child that has been referred to up until this point as Geauga's child. Gail Eastwood Ritchie has been charged with aggravated murder and murder in the case. This dates back to March of 1993. What we learned throughout the course of testimony in the trial is that she says that the child was born not alive, never took a breath, in the bathroom of a home where she was being a nanny at the time in 1993. Now, the body of the child was found in a trash bag on the side of the road and has been referred to up until this point as Geauga's child. So there was testimony on Saturday from the Montgomery County coroner Kent Harshberger. He testified on behalf of the defense, saying that it's impossible to tell at this point whether the child was actually born alive, and that determination, according to him, could not be made to a reasonable degree. However, there was testimony for the prosecution that directly refuted that, with an expert saying that the child was very much born alive. That witness said that the lungs of the child did breathe. The jury is now deliberating, and as soon as there's information on that verdict, we will be sure to bring that to you. Now, an update on what's going on in Ukraine. President Joe Biden today has called for a war crimes trial against Russian President Vladimir Putin. This is after the bodies of 410 civilians have reportedly been removed from Kyiv area towns, including Bucha, which was recently retaken from Russian forces. Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky said that these Russian actions amount to genocide and is calling for the West to have tougher sanctions against Russia. The president said today that he is calling for a war crimes trial and that he'd seek more sanctions after these reported actions in Ukraine, but he stopped short of calling it genocide. He did, however, call Putin a war criminal. Now, that number, 410, it comes from Ukraine's prosecutor general. We do know that the Associated Press journalists confirmed that they saw at least 22 people in various spots around Bucha, bodies of these people, which is northwest of the capital of Kyiv. Now, it's alleged that Russian soldiers were attacking civilians trying to leave the city and get away from Russian attacks. President Biden also said that we have to continue to provide Ukraine with the weapons that they need to continue the fight, and that they need to gather all of the details so that when the time comes, there can be an actual war crimes trial with that information. Now, if you tried to travel this weekend, you may have gotten caught up in a big mess because more than 3,500 U.S. flights were canceled over the weekend. This was due to weather in Florida and also other issues. FlightAware is a website that tracks flights, and they noted disruptions at several Florida airports, including Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Tampa, and Orlando, as well as Baltimore, New York, and other airports in the country. Many airlines affected. JetBlue, Southwest, Alaska Airlines, Frontier, Spirit, and American Airlines were hit the worst with these cancellations, according to FlightAware. And JetBlue and Spirit canceled 1/3 of Sunday's scheduled flights. If you've been paying attention on social media, you've seen lots of people talking about this, lots of people saying that they haven't been able to get rebooked on a flight, that they've been stranded for days, a lot of people renting cars and driving to where they need to go because of the issue. Also, it's possible that a staffing shortage is impacting this as well, particularly Alaska Airlines. Alaska Airlines had to be dealing, it seemed, with a separate issue because their weekend cancellation started on Friday and it affected more than 37,000 people who were trying to fly, and further cancellations might be possible. Now, the airline declined to comment about the canceled flights, but there is an issue of contract negotiations with pilots. And the pilots union said in a statement on Friday that Alaska Airlines failed to properly plan for increased travel demand and take the steps necessary to ensure it attracted and retained pilots. And if you're not aware of the timing of all of this, it's spring break. So lots of young people trying to get lots of places and lots of people just trying to get somewhere warm in this cold snap that we are in the middle of. So that brings us to the forecast right now. It's looking like a rainy week ahead for us here in Northeast Ohio, according to our 3 News meteorology team. Today, we can expect scattered mix of mainly rain early in the day with mostly cloudy skies, mid to upper 40s, which is a little low for the average time this year, according to our meteorology team. And Tuesday, we expect it to be cloudy with a chance of showers near 60, so a little bit of a warm-up. And then Wednesday, rain and rumbles are possible, mostly cloudy otherwise, in the mid to upper 60s. Turning now to sports, the Cleveland Cavaliers are not happy after the loss last night to the Philadelphia 76ers. They lost 122-108, and they were hanging in there right until the very end. But Cleveland coach J.B. Bickerstaff has been critical of the officiating. Joel Embiid scored a lot of points. He scored 44 points, and he made a lot of trips to the free throw line, 20 trips to the free throw line. So what Bickerstaff is saying is, no disrespect to the 76ers, but he does not believe that the officiating was even in yesterday's game. Cleveland was called for 28 fouls. Philadelphia was called for 19. It was a very physical game. It was playoff level intensity for sure. Here's what Bickerstaff said. The one thing you can't defend is the free throw line, and that is absurd that the 76ers had 42 attempted foul shots, and he said our guys deserved way better than they got tonight. He said that the 76ers know how to play around the rules, and that's what happened, and no disrespect to them at all, but here's a quote from him. The game has to be consistent on both ends of the floor. We were searching for that consistency, and we never found it. Now, if you have been looking for your hot dog heaven fix, you get that back because the restaurant is back after more than 19 months. It went up in flames in 2020 after an overnight fire, and today it is back in Amherst, rebuilt at 493 Cleveland Avenue. It's been a staple in Amherst since the 1970s. They had been operating as a food truck in the interim since that fire, but they're back, so you can get your hot dog heaven. And if you're in Westlake, you can get Chick-fil-A because there's a new Chick-fil-A coming to Westlake. It's opening at 30115 Detroit Road. It opens this Thursday, April 7th, okay? So watch out for that. They're expecting to bring more than 150 jobs to the community. They're doing all the great things that Chick-fil-A usually does when they open a restaurant. They're selecting 100 local heroes to get free Chick-fil-A for a year. They're donating $25,000 to Feeding America to help hungry people in the area, and they will be open this Thursday, April 7th. Now, if you're a fan of the Ohio State Fair, pay attention because we now know who the final singers will be, the final performers at the Ohio State Fair concert series. Rapper Ice Cube, country music singers Willie Nelson and Noah Guthrie, and funk bands Lakeside and Confunction will be performing at the State Fair this summer. All of these shows will be at the WCOL Celeste Center. Tickets for the concerts go on sale Friday at 10 a.m. There's also already announced concerts, and those tickets are already on sale. We've got the full lineup on WKYC.com and in our WKYC app. The fair runs July 27th through August 7th this year, and the concerts are running July 28th through August 6th. So make sure you check that out. And speaking of music, we have an update on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame fan vote for this year's nominees. Duran Duran is still in the lead right now. They've got about 766,000 votes. Eminem is second with 617-some thousand votes, followed by Pat Benatar, the Eurythmics, and Dolly Parton. Yes, she is still on the ballot. The Rock Hall said that they would not be removing her from the ballot, despite the fact that she had asked that she not be considered among those people because she doesn't do rock and roll. But the Rock Hall still has her on there. So if you're interested in voting, that voting is now open through April 29th. The top 5 artists with the most votes from the fan ballot will then be tallied with other ballots for the 2022 inductees to be selected. The final list will be revealed in May, and the induction ceremony will be in the fall at a to-be-determined location. One more thing before we go, I have to give a shout-out to my Carolina Tar Heels because they are in the NCAA championship game. That's tonight against Kansas. They beat Duke in the matchup that everyone had been waiting for, the first time UNC and Duke faced off in the NCAA tournament, and they won. And that was a nail-biter of a game, too. So, go Tar Heels tonight. That's where I went to law school. All right, everybody have a great day, and I will see you back here tomorrow for more 3 News Now.